What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dermy Wormy. I'm coming at you with another video, and today we're talking movies because Madam Web came out earlier in the year and it just floundered at the box office. It was a disaster of monumental proportion. Nobody knew what this movie was supposed to be, and then on top of that, the movie itself was just awful. It was not a good narrative. It was all around just garbage tier content. You had movies like Argyle come out, which was a blatant bait and switch, showing off people like Henry Cavill in the lead role, showing in a particular role, and then it ends up being that Henry Cavill was actually the author the whole time, and it was just a self-insert. The movie, it wasn't a good movie. It was an all-around garbage tier movie, and it shows just at the box office numbers itself. But this weekend, we had a win. We had a major win over at the box office because, well, it was to be expected. With movies like Dune Part 2, and I know everybody's calling it Dune 2, but it is Part 2 of the Dune movies, came out and just decimated the box office as a whole. You come over here to Variety. Dune 2 jolts box office with mighty 81.5 million debut. Hollywood Reporter, box office Dune 2 delivers a promise with big 81.5 million domestic opening. Over here at Deadline, Dune Part 2, how sci-fi space worm epic reared ahead to $81.5 million opening after strike release delay. Sunday box office update. And guys, this movie is not perfect. I can outright say it. It's not perfect, but it's good. I fundamentally enjoyed myself going to see it. I thought this was a wonderful movie, and I like the fact that people are just debating about it in a nerd way when it comes to this movie. And it shows just by how many people went to go see this movie at the opening weekend, how many people actually went to go see this movie and engage with this movie and actually wanted to see this movie. And guys, legitimately, this was a good movie, and you should honestly go see it. But when you take a look over at the box office itself, yes, domestically, it's brought in $81 million so far. Worldwide, though, it's brought in $97 million, sitting at a worldwide total of $178 million right now. That's a phenomenal number, especially when you start taking into account what its actual budget is. Its budget was $190 million. Now, that's a large budget, but it kind of also it makes sense for how the movie itself looks, how many actors they had in there, what they did with it. It is a visually stunning movie. It is a beautiful, gorgeous movie. So I'm not going to knock them for having such a high budget for this movie all around. But when you take into account their actual budget and how it's sitting right now, give it about I'm going to be a little bit less conservative on this and say it needs to make about $400 million just to break even. Already after its first freaking week, it's almost halfway there. Legitimately, it's almost made its money back. It's almost broken relatively what it costs to make the actual movie itself. It still needs to make for another $200 million, but you're seeing audiences actually go around and kind of, hey, we're gonna not just go out and buy this ticket right away. We're gonna go out and wait for maybe an IMAX screening. We're gonna wait to go see it at the best possible time, because that's kind of what you do need to go do to see this movie and engage with this movie, is go to something like an IMAX theater or some really large screen, because it is such an epic movie. Now, on top of that, we also are hearing that there's tons of nerds and tons of people, even people that weren't very happy with it from the aspect of the book, saying, hey, we want to go see this movie again. Hey, we want to go engage with this movie again. Hey, we want to digest this movie again and think it all the way through. That's other things that you need to help get a movie to make it to a potential billion-dollar movie, a potential to being such a success at the box office as it is. Now, do I think Dune Part 2 will be a billion-dollar movie? I don't know. I don't know. This is still just week one, but this shows you something very important, though. And I'll just come over here to the actual 2024 box office numbers as it stands right now. What do we have here? We have Dune Part 2 as of right now. March 3rd is when I'm recording this, sitting at the top of the worldwide box office in 2024. Then you start going down. Oh, what else did they have? They had The Beekeeper. Beekeeper was a fun movie. Wasn't a great movie, but it was a fun movie. Bob Marley, One Love. Didn't see it, had no interest in it. Mean Girls. Oh yeah, the remake, which was not a remake, but a musical remake, but don't know what's going on there. That's your number 4 right now. Argyle, talked about Argyle. Blatant bait and switch, self-indulgent movie that people honestly walked out of, didn't engage with. Madam Web, another movie, garbage tier movie, so bad that people were even comparing it to the Marvels on which one was worse. Okay, that's how bad Madam Web was. But you start taking a look at this. Okay, you start engaging with this relatively. Now the Beekeeper, the movies I saw, Dune Part 2 are movies I saw. What were they? Beekeeper, action-packed thriller, just tons of masculine energy. Didn't make sense whatsoever. Honestly, narrative-wise was pretty bad, but it was a fun movie and an engaging movie, and people liked it for what it was. Succeeded. Dune Part 2, nerd fest movie, very slow, very methodical, makes you actually think, makes you actually engage. Book nerds hate it, but all around though, we're having nerd debates around it. We're having engaging discussion around it. And what does that tell you? What does that actually show you? Is that if you give people what they actually want, what they actually want to engage with, something that's marketed to the general public, whether that's an epic tale, whether that's masculine energy, whether that's attractive women, what have you, even a tragic tale, something like that, when you market it to a nerd style audience, if you market it to this audience as this epic crazy tale for nerds, you're gonna get everybody interested in it. You're gonna get everybody wanting to talk about it, and what it's gonna show up is you're gonna see it at the box office. You're gonna make money. You're gonna see something. When you give people something that they actually want, everybody comes to it. You can't appease everybody. You can't try to appease everybody. You can't try to go like, well, we're going to go to the whole market. No, you need to focus on one area. Then it drags in everybody else. It brings everybody else to it because they're like, hey, I kind of want to see what's going on here. I kind of want to know what's happening here. I kind of want to deal with what's happening here. And we're seeing this in action with movies like Dune Part 2, with movies like The Beekeeper. And it is a wonderful time. It's a good time. And I'm happy to see it. We still have a long ways to go. Dune Part 2 is probably one of the few movies that's going to do very well this year. And Dune Part 2 might not cross the $1 billion mark, but I'm willing to place money that it might get close. That's what I'm going to say here, but I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get your guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out, friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.